Well, this is the last track action, at least across Heats A and B of the men's 4x100 meters coming right up. So again, you would expect San Marino to be strong. Again, similar to Gasparelli, they have a great sprinter in Sansevini, Francesco Sansevini. He was beaten and finished in second place in the individual race. Looking here at the Montenegrins with Marsenic, Jakovic, Rosenovic, Victor earlier, and Vojvodic. On to North Macedonia, Tchaikovsky, Alexovsky, Petrov and Stoyovsky. Again, we saw him in the 400 hurdles, I think it was. The Andorrans with Dylan Ben Ahmed, Arderu Villanova, Blasi and Herreros. Armenia, Guxian Hovakimyan, who was at the start of the day desperate to get going in that long jump, if you can remember back then, seems an age ago. Avagyan and Gevorgyan complete their lineup. And then from lane 4 alongside them, as expected, Francesco Sansevini will bring the San Marino quartet home. Before him will be Francini, Golini and Bolini. Now, Albania have had some really strong sprinting today, winning A and B races. Kako, Vila, Kadeku and Kardaku, who won that initial first men's 100 meter heat earlier. The personal best of 10:85 will bring them home. And then Kosovo on the inside, Telaku, Batiki, Ukaj and Ahmeti, completing their lineup. So, a heat of supposedly faster athletes, or nations if you like, to come in a moment. But maybe a little bit more unpredictable, with different options that you could bring into a relay. Let's see how they go here. Kosovo, Albania, San Marino, Armenia, Andorra, North Macedonia, and then Montenegro. What was basking in the sunlight has now turned to shade. Let's have a look at this opening leg. So good initially from North Macedonia with Tchaikovsky. Long jumper, of course, who won his individual event. Continuing to go strongly. Andorra also having a good run in the navy vest from lane 6. Let's have a look as we come towards the home straight now. Real stretch from the Andorrans. Just got it there in time. North Macedonia, smile on his face, pushing his way through. But a real fight on behind. And looks like Sansevini brings San Marino home for second place. Oh, look at that celebration, though. In front for North Macedonia. And Jovan Stoyovsky, 40.89. A second ahead of San Marino, Rob.
What a finish for the North Macedonians. There was a very, very late changeover for the Andorrans, who in the end ran out of the top 3. Lovely finish from Sansevini to come through in lane 4 for second place. Great finish for San Marino. But Northern Macedonia, a little bit like Albania in the first of the 2 women's 4x1s, they established that lead early on, and it was a lead they were never to relinquish. But boy, oh boy, was that Andorran change from 3 to 4 very, very late. So, watch on the left. Montenegro were there or thereabouts. The Andorrans here were beginning to close the gap with Arderu Villanova, but still it was North Macedonia, Aleskovsky to Petrov. That looked a decent changeover. But watch here, the Andorrans. There the baton is safely in the hands of the North Macedonians. They're reaching. It was very, very late, and that's why they got overhauled. But watch the San Marino athlete, Sansevini. He's gone past the Armenian, and then he comes sweeping past everybody to grab them second place. But a brilliant celebration at the end for Stokowski. Boom! We've taken it. And they'll be in the shake-up for some decent points because, yes, they're in the second, the slightly slower on paper 4x1 relay, but the times will count. I'm not quite sure what he was saying there, but he was very happy about it. Good run from the North Macedonian quartet.
Yes, they were started off by a long jumper and brought home by a 400 hurdler with a couple of sprinters in between, more conventional sprinters, you might say. So North Macedonia with a national record to boot as well, 40.89. Good margin of victory from a fantastic finishing San Marino team.
Right, so North Macedonia have put the hammer down with a 40.89 men's 4x1, San Marino with a 41.91, and Armenia with 42 seconds on the nose. These teams will hope to go even quicker. We're not using lane 1, so we go 8-2. Division 1 at the weekend from Madrid. You don't need to miss a single beat. It's all been sorted. Go to the European Athletics website. You'll find access to the coverage on Eurovision. And we will be here tomorrow on exactly the same platforms, giving you live, uninterrupted coverage of day 2 on Division 3. The end of this week is fascinating because the Slovenians, armed with their monstrous, 6'9", 6'10", well maybe he's 7 foot tall, Che, hoping to go well for them in the discus as they bid to get back in the Premier League. Meanwhile, let's wrap up this fabulous day 1. It's Zara on the lead leg for Malta on the outside in 8. Brzezina, watch for him round that second bend. Inside them, Moldova. Kalinin anchoring them home, Zatic on lead leg. And they're in 7, little puff of the cheeks, a shakeout. Then to Iceland. Hi mama. Svarson says that to his mum. Thorn Grimson on the anchor leg. They will lead overnight by how much? Luxembourg inside them in lane 5. Muller on anchor leg. Looks nervous, Dossert. Then to Bosnia-Herzegovina. Sebic on the lead leg. Music goes anchor. They're in lane 4. Azerbaijan, what a run earlier on today from Nagiev. Jafarov on second leg for them. And on the inside, remember in lane 2, not lane 1, is Georgia. Gregorian going lead leg. Ilarini anchoring them home. So Georgia in 2, Azerbaijan 3, Bosnia-Herzegovina 4, Luxembourg 5, Iceland 6, Moldova 7, Malta in 8. The last points available to wrap up a scintillating day 1 in the sunshine of Slovenia. A balmy evening, an atmospheric day. Who takes the last set of points? And watch the clock. North Macedonia's national record, 40.89 from the first of the 2 heats, is no mean mark whatsoever. Ooh. Well, we're finishing as we started as far as the track events are concerned. It feels like it was about 15 hours ago. It was probably 5 hours ago when we had the 400 hurdles and all sorts of faulty starts going on, and the last instalment of sprint drama is sprinkled with a little bit of drama. There was a little tumble there. It was the man from Azerbaijan, Ali Kabarov. I think he's okay in terms of injury. Now, come on, we don't want a disqualification. We've had a brilliant day of action. I know these guys have only got a job to do. But Alex, I'm old-fashioned. I hate seeing teams disqualified. The aspirations of 4 men crashing to the ground. Hopefully this will be a faulty rather than false. I couldn't spot an individual infraction, could you?
No, couldn't there. And we have seen a fair share of green cards, though. And I feel as though there's been a degree of understanding, for want of a better word.
Okay, and understanding once again. Well, two things here. Hopefully the man from Azerbaijan will stay on his feet after the gun goes. And most importantly, let's get no recall. Georgia in 2, Azerbaijan 3, Bosnia-Herzegovina 4, Luxembourg 5, Iceland 6, Moldova 7, Malta on the outside in 8. Last points available, day 1, Division 3 here in Maribor. The same power that rose Christ from the dead is living in you. Personal motivation for one of the athletes. Okay, it's a clean start this time. Who takes the first edge? Good running from the Icelandic athletes for Varsen. Luxembourg with a little bit to do. Iceland trying to close the gap on Moldova, just on their outside, and Malta running well on the outside. Oh, terrible exchange there. I think it was the Moldovans running out of room. Iceland now coming through with Luxembourg on their inside. Look at the high knee lift there. Great running by the Icelandic team. Thorn Grimson takes it, Luxembourg second, 40.86. Wow, only a few hundredths quicker than North Macedonia in the first of the heats. There was a terrible changeover from second to third there, I think, for the Moldovans. Iceland came through brilliantly. Luxembourg in second, but remember it's done on the aggregate times, so North Macedonia will in fact take the points for second place with their national record from Heat 1. Azerbaijan in third. Well, Iceland's lead just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think the unpredictability of the seeding relative to other events was shown very much so here. It just really depends. You could put all kinds of quartets together, and therefore there's no reason necessarily why Heat A would be that much slower than Heat B. That proved the case here, but watch very carefully. The Bosnian quartet, yes, one of those fighting very hard for promotion. They drop the baton early, and it looks as though they will not score a single point here. So have a look here. Bosnia, they are third from the right, and it's a sort of slap into the hand of that baton. Does not make it. And you can see a Bosnian athlete here in the foreground of your screen, and he knows at this point, head in hands, that they will not score points. And Moldova, just when they had a chance to build an advantage maybe over Bosnia, they had a slightly suspect changeover that meant that they were at least further down the order than they might have otherwise been. All the while, Luxembourg was strolling to second, and Iceland out front, first in this race and indeed overall. So it just tells you, I think, why, as we head into the finish overnight, that you will sometimes need a big lead, especially coming into something like a relay where you can drop a baton and not score points at all.
Perfect finish to day 1 from the Icelandic team, flexing their muscles in Division 3, smarting from their relegation 2 years ago. This has been a dominant day indeed for a proud island nation who will be over the moon at how things have gone over the last 5 hours. So Iceland from Luxembourg with Azerbaijan. Bosnia-Herzegovina didn't finish. And there was big disappointment as well for Moldova, fading to 5th when they were right up in contention. A disastrous changeover from 2nd to 3rd. Iceland with maximum points, but overall, North Macedonia, with their national record from the first of the heats, takes 2nd place overall, relegating Luxembourg to 3rd. And how crucial will that drop baton prove to be tomorrow for Bosnia-Herzegovina? 0 points from the last event on day 1 in Div 3.
Hi, I'm Nadia Batogritti. Sign up now to the European Athletics YouTube channel.